How is it going? It's Carl Joseph here, tarot reader, psychic medium, 15, 16 years. My hair's doing some things, my beard is doing some things are doing some things. So I recorded an episode of a podcast today with my friend Sam. It's called In the Vortex, and we were talking about lots of different things. She's a facilitator. She lives here in Guatemala. I've known her for quite a long time. We have lots of conversations about facilitation and how to handle clients, basically, within the realm of good facilitation, boundary lines, because that is one thing I'll say about me. I'm very straight to the point. I'm very direct. People come to me for those reasons, because I say the truth. And yeah, I try to maintain a nice professionalism with my work because I honor and respect it. The only time I have ever had an issue or problem is with, the crazy stalker woman who decided to overstep a boundary and fly to where I live. And after being a client of mine, and then I had to tell her to fuck off. I'm a firm believer in telling people to fuck off, if they're overstepping boundaries and doing things that are not okay, hold them accountable. So there's that. The other thing that I wanted to make a video on was the expansion of one's consciousness. I think that we are living and existing in a world currently that is a little bit challenging and difficult because we have access to history and spirituality and technology, and all of these things are trying to find some form of equilibrium. It's a dichotomy. God collectively is experiencing itself in its fullness. If we look at our own energetic system, root, heart, crown, higher energetic centers of wisdom, spirituality, maybe technology, to heart, empathy, compassion, and then our baseline foundational structure that we've grown from, the systems and structures that we have in place that are based around money, concreteness. We're trying to integrate. How can we have maybe an understanding of God and these higher spiritual concepts and, once again, technology, advanced technology? How do we integrate that and bring heaven to earth in the foundations that we already have that are based on, once again, they really resonate within root space, money, power, sexuality, all of those things. How do we bring heaven to earth? It's a very difficult time to be alive. And as we expand our consciousness, I think naturally we are equipped by design, by God, to be able to handle those spaces. Otherwise, we wouldn't have access to them all. But as we do that, there's lots of shifts that have to take place. Medical industries, drug companies, food system. How do we, utilize AI in a way that's ethical, loving, not an abuse of power? How do we have global politics that is not an abuse of power, that isn't based on the back of pain or hurting? We need heart-centeredness, we need God-centeredness to the baseline root chakra space. When we say, as above, so below, it is God experiencing itself in its fullness and bringing that into the material, earthly, physical plane in the playground of duality that we exist in. So yeah, it's a crazy time to be alive. And as we expand and connect to these different pieces and parts of ourselves, just understand and know that everything is in divine perfection. You will access the pieces of yourself you need to, as and when you need to, for the thing that is bigger than you, God. And then that comes into an integration. But these things have to be a process, because otherwise we wouldn't experience things in time and space. Things have to happen. In some sort of cohesive, or sometimes not cohesive, but linear format. Otherwise, how would we experience it? Without time and space. It's like music. If you don't have the space between the notes and you don't have time, you cannot experience music. we can't have access to all of these pieces and parts, or we haven't had access to them, because otherwise we wouldn't have the linear time frame of history. So as we open up all of the pockets, it's happening in the right way, in the right time. The same is true for you. Otherwise, if you were, right, in somewhere in your process, in your journey, right, before you'd access different pieces and parts, of yourself, your spirit, your soul in its fullness, which rewires, your brain, your neurological pathways. If you did that in like a split second, you would combust, you'd explode, you'd implode, because of the fact that who you are vibrationally is also aligned with your external reality. So if you change that, boom, your whole fucking reality will change overnight. It wouldn't be possible. Your time, the time and the space that you exist in is reflective of what you are in resonance with vibrationally. Therefore, things unfold as and when they need to keep time and space in place. If you opened the fullness of yourself at the age of 13, when that fullness is actually attributed to you when you're 30, you wouldn't have all of the bit in between. And you have to move through time and space and experiences in order for your energy, your radio station, to refine itself and attune itself as part of this thing that's collective. So everybody is in that, and we're all experiencing it, and we're all doing it. To collapse time and space within that way is possible in maybe the energetic spiritual world, but the material physical has to catch up. We have the laws of physics within God for a reason. So God can experience in itself in time and space. That's it. That's what I'm saying. If you want to work with me, I hope that makes sense. I think it makes sense, right? So if you want to work with me, carltruslove.com. I teach all of these modalities. I have an apprenticeship. I don't work with everybody. It has to be right, So yeah, check out my website, carltruslove.com. If you want to give for these videos, PayPal at Kyle Truslove. Like I will always say, remember, all is good, all is God, all is love. Until we connect again soon in a wonderful, beautiful